Hello, hello. Welcome to the Livestream of Consciousness, a special edition, Moments with Metatron, as you just saw. I'm super excited for this. Metatron is somebody who I've been working with, interesting. I don't know how to refer to Metatron sometimes, but Metatron is an energy I've been working with lately, and love to sit with and exchange energy with and ideas. And the last time Metatron came on the show with Wendy Gayle, Metatron actually said, I want to talk about conspiracy theories. And I was like, whoa, because that's something that I usually don't do on the live stream of consciousness. Because I just as a spiritual person, there's a bit of a conundrum, I think, when it comes to things like conspiracy theories, in that we believe, I believe, I mean, I say we, what's up, Jessica? I say we as the collective, that you know energy, thoughts are energetic, and thoughts manifest reality. And so to think about conspiracy theories and negative things, I don't like to do it often, because I feel like it gives it energy, and it brings it to life, it gives it power. But also, as a spiritual person, I believe that as a whole, the collective, good and evil are both parts of that, and need to exist to make it a whole. So it's like a conundrum, how you have to kind of have faith that there's a reason behind it all, and that's what makes it easy for me. So once again, I'm Michael Zinn. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness, a special edition. I'm going to have an amazing special guest on. I'm not going to have two amazing special guests on, so I'm going to bring on my first special guest, who will help me bring on my second special guest. So welcome to Moments with Metatron, live stream of consciousness, Wendy Gayle. What's up, Wendy?
Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
Amazing, excited,
Oh,
especially right now, fired up for this moment, this
yeah,
conversation.
me too.
I've been waiting for it ever since Metatron suggested it, and I'm excited because I feel like, in general, the live stream of consciousness, we have conversations that you don't have in the workplace, maybe about some metaphysical things, like that. And even Metatron is a part of that, and why I have Metatron on the live stream of consciousness. But I think that this conversation is important, because I think, again, as spiritual people, you try to focus on the positive things, focus on positive energy, and really try to give that power, and try not to give power to the things that don't feel so good.
Right.
um
Yeah, yeah,
so this is going to be interesting, because I
yeah,
think healing, a lot of healing, if you talk to a lot of healers, that happens when you face those shadows, and you work through the
yeah.
shadows. So this is like shadow work, in a way, right? Shadow work with Metatron.
Metatron shadow work. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
very interesting.
yeah, and I said to you that I come with a degree of trepidation, because this is also not usually my point of focus with
Mhm,
Metatron.
mhm,
But there are things happening these days that kind of need to have a light shown on them,
mhm,
so that we can discern the truth for ourselves and, choose our path accordingly. And I think that that's why he really wanted to come tonight and share some things. And the things he's going to share is, he's not going to rip the lid off of anything. I don't believe. You just never know.
You never know.
Yeah, he surprised me when he said, let's do this. But I do believe that he's going to address some simple things that are going to help people. So,
And that's usually the message, and that's taking the positive spin out of the negative stuff that needs to exist, right? And Helen says, I'm going to try not to get too wound up. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. So just for, most of the people in my audience probably are familiar with the whole idea of channeling. I'm not going to ask you to explain it from the beginning and everything, but I did feel like it was kind of important, especially for this conversation, to kind of express the idea of when you bring in Metatron, and because I work with you, and we, I know and how you do it and all of that, there's kind of a shift into a mindful space, almost like a little bit of a meditation. So I know for me, as I'm watching you prepare to bring in Metatron, I'm taking my deep breaths, I'm focusing on my breath, I'm kind of doing that basic meditation thing. So I think for anybody who's watching live or the replay, as you see Wendy do that and me do that, just to kind of join along and focus your intention, focus on your breath, get yourself into that mindful space. Before we do that, also, I'm going to say subscribe and comment. If you have any questions at all about things, in this conversation, this is an open conversation. So you guys, please, what's the word I'm looking for? Participate in the chat, but also, like on YouTube, make a comment. Hey, hashtag live if you're watching the live. Hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. That helps me kind of gauge, what's going on with the community, and that helps out. So yeah, I thought it was important to say that so that there'll be more intentions and energy for Metatron to focus in. And
absolutely, and I always ask that people use their discernment, right? Because there's going to be things that resonate and things that don't.
Yeah.
And we're here to bring through the cleanest message possible, but still, everyone, please use your discernment. Okay.
Absolutely. Great. Awesome. All right. Is there anything you want to say before you bring in Metatron, or are you ready to go?
Let me see if what's important. No, he's kind of already here. You may feel him in your space, and those that are watching may feel him in your space. Please know that it's safe. He is of a high vibrational frequency and has nothing but love and respect for each and every one of you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Okay. I am a full body unconscious trance channel, so it takes me a moment to slip into trance. And when Metatron comes in, he'll say hello and away we go. All right. All right. All right. Good day to you, Michael.
Hello, and welcome back. It's so wonderful to see you, be in your presence.
It is wonderful to be with you as well, and everyone who is listening to us today. we have been excited to bring you some conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited for this conversation. Absolutely. I think it's important for everybody, and I'm so curious as to your perspective and wisdom about it.
Right. Well, we would like to say about conspiracy theories that we very much dislike the title conspiracy theory, because anyone can take any piece of information that they are trying to hide and they can slap the label conspiracy theory on it. And then all of a sudden, people are not willing to look at it, entertain it, believe it, research into it, because it's a conspiracy theory. It matters not. And so that is one of the conspiracy theories, right? Is creating a conspiracy theory to cover up things that you would prefer that the general public not see, not witness you doing behind the scenes. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory, right? So we would say to everyone that when you hear conspiracy theory, if you are interested at all, or you're piqued, right, go research it. Don't just say, oh, that's that's folderol because somebody says it's conspiracy theory. Go do your homework, right? Really go do your homework. And that is so important in today's world. Do your homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Yeah. What an insightful way to start. Thank you. That's brilliant. I mean, it really is a great way to kind of take a step back and look at the whole thing and say, okay, even calling it a conspiracy theory gives it this energy that
Yeah.
now it's like, is it or is it not? And if it is something that's truthfully not malevolent, if something truly malevolent, then it almost has something to hide behind.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, yeah, we can hide here. It's a conspiracy theory, right? And so, how many conspiracy theories have a basis in truth? Quite a few. Quite a few. So,
Yeah, yeah.
that's,
So I guess for me, Angelo's out there already jumping in saying, "Ask Metatron who'll win the elections." I'm not going to start with that. I don't think that's
no,
even
no,
on the.
no,
I don't
no.
think
That,
that's even on the docket. But for me, kind of like the umbrella conspiracy theory, without getting too specific
Mhm.
about this or that or the other thing, is the idea of a malevolent force
yes,
existing to
yeah,
um, shape humanity or to control humanity in a way to pull us away from our own powers
yes,
as individuals, to pull us away from the collective, to keep us separate.
Mhm.
So maybe that's a good place to start.
Right.
Um,
That's a great place to start. And we want to start with something so simple that each and every one of you, for the most part, participate in every day, and that is social media. All right.
mhm,
So, have you ever been on social media and somebody makes a heartfelt post and somebody else comes in and makes a very mean comment?
mhm, mhm,
You've seen it. You've seen people come in and be really nasty on people's social media posts. And
mhm,
so we will say to you that there are groups of people whose job, and we mean job, it is their job to come in and say negative or hurtful things about your posts on social media. Now, why would that be?
mhm,
It is multi-leveled. Number one, sometimes people will see a negative post and go, yeah, I'm not going to follow this person anymore because somebody else doesn't like what they say. And then the individual that received the cutting comment is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they've done wrong. They begin to make themselves small. They are afraid to post their light any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the light as a whole is dimmed because of these people that are making the negative comments on what is your social media. So
Mm-hmm.
to counterbalance that, when you light workers, when you beloved ones receive those negative comments from somebody, you can say, there's one of those that Metatron was talking about, right?
Yeah.
And not let it bother you anymore, because it's truly
Mm-hmm.
someone's job to come on and try to knock the light out from under you, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if there's no light, then what is possible, right? That which is not light
Mm-hmm.
surges more into your world. Okay, simple, right?
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, very, very, very simple. And I, I can remember. I know for me, I remember that moment. I remember those feelings, reacting to posts and things that were said, and then finally being like, you know what, I'm going to react to this with even more light. And 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 I had moments that were victorious where people said, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry for talking that way. Like,
Good.
kind of holding up a mirror when someone's calling you bad names, saying, look at the language you're using. Really? Would you want to be called that? And that kind of thing.
Good,
And
good.
so, yeah, that's awesome. Dottie Mayfield, what's up? Dottie says, I feel that conspiracy theories are brought about by those who have sight. They are brought to the attention of others, encouraging them to open their eyes and their mind to shed lights on the issues that the collective is just about ready to look at together. Right. That's exactly what we were talking about. But I think Metatron was also talking about how got a connotation. When you call something a conspiracy theory, you're immediately kind of taking away the truth that it
Yeah.
might be actually truth. You're saying it isn't truth by saying it's conspiracy theory.
Certain way to disempower or take away from something that
Right,
perhaps needs attention or focus, right?
right, right, right. So, we do have a question from Angelo saying,
Mhm.
asking, what is Metatron's job for humanity? We've gone over that, but if you can say that real quick. I mean,
All right.
specifically, we're trying to talk about conspiracy theories, but maybe in relation to
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah. And part of our job is to poke you awake, right? To help you to look at things in a different way, to shift your perceptions and your belief systems so that you will expand and grow and be able to hold more light upon this planet, because each and every one of you are important. You all make a difference. So part of our job is holding space for that, poking you sometimes when you need it, holding you when you need it. We are a full service being, right?
Hmm.
But really, it's all about your evolutionary process, your ascension. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know for me, a lot of the times when we work together, you bring
Mhm.
a lot of validation to things that I might have been thinking or doing, and then you kind of tell me that the purpose of it, and then I say, oh, that makes sense now. Now I understand, and it brings that validation. Um, and Helen is kind of also agreeing. I've heard that the CIA created the phrase conspiracy theory to do exactly what Metatron said, and that's that right there. I mean, again, so that Helen, I think, is interesting because you're alluding to the malevolence of the CIA, and that also is very interesting and very basic in conspiracy theory, that a lot of the things that we thought were there to help us, like the CIA, is
Mhm.
actually doing experiments like, what is it, MX13, not MX13. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot the name of that experiment. The psychological experiments and stuff with people,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the government is not exactly the good guy.
Right.
That's
Right.
also a part of conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Well, yeah. And you have heard of what is remote viewing, right?
mhm,
Everyone's heard of remote viewing. There is a group of remote viewers that are looking off planet. There's a group of remote viewers that are watching all the big players here on the planet. But there's also a group of remote viewers that are watching the light workers in the world, those that are making an impact, those that are the helpers, right? And then, there's another subset past that are their job is to you know, uh, try to throw you off base, right?
mhm, mhm,
They throw a lot of negative energy into your field. So this is something that is happening daily. This is
mhm,
why so many that are doing spirit's work feel attacked. Mm? And so one of the things that you can employ is protection every single day to counterbalance any malevolence that is being focused out to you. Right?
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Forewarned is forearmed sometimes.
mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Interesting. Interesting. So Angelo's out there. Angelo, I think, I don't know if he saw the last session that I had with you, but he's got some kind of basic questions. But I think it's fair, for people who maybe are just experiencing Metatron or trying to
Mhm.
wrap their head around it. So what is God to Metatron? I think he means, what is Metatron to God, or what is God to Metatron? Is he just energy? Does he have form? Maybe he's trying to
Mhm.
ask you what
Mhm.
God is to you. I think that's the question. So how would you define God?
Well, God is all, right? There's nothing outside of God. It is all God. And if you're wondering what Metatron is, right? We were created to be the sacred geometry in all things, and we have spoken about this to Michael in the
Mhm,
past. So all form contains Metatron, right?
mhm,
But God I am, you are all gods I am. Is that what you're asking, my friend? Is that helping answer your curiosities?
hopefully that does help Angelo. He's got a bunch of questions, it looks like, uh and he says no, actually that didn't help his question. um so I'm not really sure how to address that. Um but I mean, if I can step in and kind of say what I feel. Metatron doesn't have form. Metatron is an energetic essence that is closer to God than humanity, than human. And because of the place that we're at in humanity, where we're able to, kind of reach inside and tap into some of our source channel. That's what's happening there. Metatron is able to come through and speak to us in a physical form. So Wendy is the physical form that Metatron is speaking through right now. So that's kind of the best way to explain how that works. And again,
One of the physical forms, because there are a number
right.
upon the planet.
Absolutely right. And that's true too. And I may have mentioned that too. I've worked with Metatron through other channels.
Yes.
And Metatron sounds and smells and feels completely different. And
Yes.
and and the same. And so it's like it's just kind of, again, Angelo, I think it's what resonates with you. and how it feels right to you to really uh, understand the explanation to things. Something that I think is interesting. I came across was the idea of like having to know the answer is 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 a part of what makes you not free, right? Freedom is not having to know the answer. And so I think a lot of the times it's going like with a feeling, with a gut, with an intuition.
Right.
um and I don't know, again, I'm trying to keep the conversation relevant. There's two questions here. I think one is, what is Metatron's explanation for reincarnation? And the other one is, what is the relationship of Metatron and the ETs? Maybe that one's a little bit closer to
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. Do either one of those?
Yeah,
Uh,
well, we'll talk about our relationship to the ETs, right?
okay.
We're happy to do that.
Okay.
The other takes us off track.
Okay.
So,
Good.
so everybody's waiting for something, some big event
Yeah.
for the beautiful galactic beings to land upon the planet. Beloved ones are already here. They have been here since the dawn of time. They will continue to be here. Some of them are very invested in assisting humanity to raise their consciousness, right? And there are some that are here that are not so interested in that. They would rather, employ control over what is humanity and their consciousness. We will say to you that there's angelic beings here, there's galactic beings here, there's everything already here on this planet. You have walked by them on the street and not even realized what you were seeing, right? So there is there now, how do we put this? There's a lot of engagement with the military and the galactic beings, right? And the military and the government as a whole, right? There are some that are open to these relationships, but as a whole, they would prefer that the general populace not know about and not have access to those that are galactic or alien, as some call them, right? The technologies that are available, the healing that is available would absolutely turn this world upside down. There would be no more war. There would be no reason to fight. Money would have no power. And that's really what the bottom line is about, right? Is power. Who's got the power? Who can make who do what?
Right.
So they're already here. There are many, many, many underground bases across the world where there's lots of technology being developed, lots of experimentation happening. And what else can I say, right?
Right. It's interesting because I'm thinking as as you're saying this, I'm like, man, I'm thinking most people are just gonna be like, all right, so tell us who wins. Like that's like that's what I'm inclined to kind of say, but I'm not, me personally, I'm not, because again, I kind of feel like, and I was having this conversation with Wendy earlier, that good and evil need to exist together, almost like brothers, right? Like one's the evil brother and one's the good brother, but they have to love each other and exist. Even if they're fighting all of the time, they have to both exist. So for me, um I don't need to know the end of the story and who wins, but I think that's, again, that's the one of the essences of conspiracy theories is, okay, what is so the military knows, but they're not telling us, and why, and all of these questions and this mistrust, right?
Yeah.
So So I guess for me, again, I'm just kind of coming from a personal way, and again, everybody, if you're out there and you have any questions, thank you, Angelo, for the ET question. Ask them. But for me, I feel like I have never, it has never felt uncertain. Okay. I feel like, one of the things that challenges me, because I have a mostly spiritual outlook and a good outlook that, things are changing for the better and there's a reason for all of this. But the human side of me feels this uncertainty, which meaning, again, like there was always this certainty that the government had you covered. You know what I mean? That if it really went bad, there was something that was going to kind of help and be there.
Yeah.
And I feel like an
Protect.
uncertainty, right? I feel like we're all on our own, and and again, for me, that's not so scary because of my feelings about what a collective is. But I think for most people, if you feel like we're on our own, they're going to run and scream, the sky is falling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we navigate that uncertainty, or can you
Mhm.
help us
Yeah.
define it or understand it?
We'll do our best, okay? So much of what you're experiencing here on your planet is an illusion, right? Safety is an illusion, and even your monetary system is an illusion. There's just so many illusions that are taken for granted as real each and every day, right? The greatest thing that each individual can do is to know thyself,
Mhm,
is to really understand who you are, what your belief is, not what your perceptions and beliefs that someone else has laid upon you are,
mhm,
and begin to strive for your sovereignty,
mhm,
understanding your own sovereignty as a human being here on this planet.
mhm,
Teach your children how to be sovereign. Teach peace, teach love. Believe in that. That is not a conspiracy theory, right?
sure, right, of
You
course.
you will find that in hard times there will be people that gather together and you become stronger in community. Don't feel like you're in this all by yourself.
Mhm,
Continue to come together with people who are like minded, right? Understand that things always change. You still have some time upon this planet before lots of the things that people are anticipating are going to happen, right? The
mhm,
earth changes, and uh, you know the new earth, those types of things, they are not immediate, but educate yourself, know what's possible, know how you can help, where you can put your energy and your consciousness to make a difference. Right? God always wins. It is not dark or light. It's always God because it's all God,
mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm,
But you are a co-creator in this play, in this illusion upon your planet. So
mhm, mhm,
be a
mhm.
good co-creator, right?
Right,
Be a
right.
good
Yeah,
co-creator.
right. That's kind of what I say all the time. Be accountable for what you're contributing to the collective. So I guess what I'm thinking as you're talking is, and this is something that I believe too, is it's not, saying that the government doesn't have your best interests, right, in its hands, is not to say that government shouldn't exist. I do feel like, it shouldn't just be anarchy. You know what I mean? That we can't just be like, okay, you know what, screw the government. They're not looking out for our best interests. We don't need the government. I think we do need some set of rules as humanity, because, you know, I don't know, just because, right? Good and evil, I think, have
Uh,
rules.
yeah.
I guess. So what do I want to ask about that?
Mhm.
What does that mean exactly? Let me just try to figure out why that's coming through to me as a
Mhm.
thing. I mean, I guess my question again, I don't feel like I want to ask questions about what happens, right? What's going to happen.
Right.
That's
And
that's
and it's already taken care of. It's already done, right? You don't
uh,
have to worry about that. You just have to participate.
right.
Okay?
Right. I think yeah, and see, so it's funny because I don't feel like I really even have questions. I think that conspiracy theories for me are interesting to think about, and I do my best to try to not subscribe to fear of
Right.
what that conspiracy theory is, like, oh my god,
Mhm.
like, and now I'm going to get kind of specific and go out there, and I don't necessarily want to talk about it unless this triggers something for you, but oh my god, there are people sacrificing children and drinking their blood for
Mhm.
adrenochrome, you know what I mean? Like, those are kind of
Yes.
some of the
Yeah.
conspiracy theories that we hear. And now, to
Yes.
me, I don't like to personally give them energy and go down and say, "Oh my God, I need to find out more. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more," because I
Mhm.
feel like that's feeding an energy. But I do feel like you mentioned earlier, there's based in some truth, right?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so what can we say to that?
It's true. That's what we can say to that. And there are groups of people that create a business out of this,
Hmm.
right? And it goes mostly unchallenged.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mostly goes unchallenged. There are those that say, oh my gosh, how horrible.
Hmm.
But when you look at things, even human trafficking, right? What's
Hmm.
really being done?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's a broad question, and we're dipping our toe into dangerous waters, and so that's all we're going to say.
Hmm. Hmm.
But there is such a structured network around this world that people feel that they are entitled to do these things to another human being.
Hmm. Hmm. So
Right?
so wow. So again, I definitely I don't like digging deep into that.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess for me, I always kind of just I try to imagine it as a metaphor because that's a lot easier for me to digest, right? That it's a metaphor for things like human trafficking,
Mhm.
and it's not necessarily so literal. But I feel like you're alluding to the fact that there is a literal aspect to it,
Yes.
and it's just so far hidden and obscure that we've never really seen it. We've only heard little whiffs about it, little
Yes. Yes.
kind of things
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
So I guess regarding that, what my question would be, um, in this time for humanity and the shift that we always talk about, is
Mhm.
that related to that, and that will be kind of like somehow unearthed or disclosed or
Yeah.
hopefully ended, or I mean,
Yes.
will
Hopefully ended, right?
right.
And what we would say is that there is a time coming where the light is going to be shown in dark places, right? It's
Mhm,
going to illuminate people, organizations that are in the background
mhm,
participating in these unsavory actions upon this planet,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
That's coming. The dark has been hiding for a very long time.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
It will not be able to
Interesting.
hide too much longer, right? Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
our woman is a channel bringing through information, but she's not in the trenches, right? But there are
Mhm,
many light workers, there are many people on this planet that are in the trenches to shine the light, to pull the cover back on these atrocities, because that's
mhm.
what they are.
Sure.
And and they are fighting a difficult battle, an uphill battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, if you are a light worker, if you are someone who believes that this should not be occurring upon your planet, then put your energies into that which is light, that which would uncover what is hidden. Volunteer for something. Go help.
Mhm,
Become
mhm, mhm,
involved in any way that you can.
mhm,
Be
mhm,
the good
mhm.
co-creator.
Right, right.
Yes,
Intentions and energy,
yes.
that's our weapon,
Prayer,
right? That's the weapon,
prayer. Yeah,
is to put your intentions and your energy into it. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really a good advice.
yeah.
As to how to handle even thinking about things. Again, I don't like to
Right.
think about those things, but when you say them, again, they don't resonate to me as like, oh, that's just baloney, just don't even believe it. It resonates as, okay, there is darkness,
Yes.
that needs to be exist somewhere, and needs to be illuminated, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, for the most part, I try to keep myself excited about this time for humanity, and where we're at, and excited about and grateful for my own role in it all, and the ability to even have a conversation like this, on a platform like this,
Yes,
for
yes,
people to be exposed to, and
yes.
say, oh, that does resonate with me. I do feel like there's some light calling me there, and a message to warn me of the darkness. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
All of the stuff that's happening right now in this moment,
Yeah,
I think it's very significant. So,
yeah. And
yeah, I feel it.
there's one thing to remember as well. When you are looking into conspiracy theories, right? It's almost like going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Please make sure that you're using your discernment, your knowing, your own spidey senses, right? As
Mhm.
to what is truth and real, and
Right.
what is not. Because
Right.
even within the rabbit hole, there's many different pathways that
Sure.
that are distractions
Right.
from what is
Right.
occurring, right?
And I think, almost like, to expand on what you're saying, I feel like basically it's like it's important to actually take a look right down the rabbit hole, but not to subscribe to the fear that the rabbit hole is trying to inject into you, and just kind of just more of an awareness of it, and acute, almost like when you're walking across the street, you have to look all ways and know where all the
Yeah.
traffic is. You know what I mean? It's very, very similar, I think.
Right,
Just a
right.
way to navigate energies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Wow, uh,
Mhm.
that's actually brought me a little bit of peace. Kind of
Ouch.
that perspective of navigating energies. That's really
Mm,
what this all is.
yeah.
Helen was saying. She said earlier. Oh, what did she say? Oh my goodness, she said so many good things I missed. Helen said she's felt for a long time the words to truly describe God don't exist. This was when we were talking about,
Mhm.
trying to define it.
Right.
And then,
True.
nothing made by humans. Oh, here's what she said. She said, if we can think, imagine what we can think and imagine is possible, that unfortunately includes evil. And yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And she also says, watch out for the Mad Hatter, when you're going down the rabbit hole. Right, which is true, and that's kind of what I'm saying, because you can
All true.
definitely drive yourselves mad, by just kind of getting a little bit too deep into the rabbit hole.
Right,
um,
right.
but but again, I don't think it's bad to poke your whole head down into the
Right,
rabbit hole and just
right.
take a look around and see what it's about.
Yeah. And there's so many things that you can look at, right? It's not just the alien conspiracies and things like that. You can look into your food. You can look into your climate. You can
Mhm,
look into what's going on in space. There's so many things that you
mhm.
can take a look at. So
Oh, that's so
go
true.
where spirit is calling you to take a peek. And if you're being led
Mhm,
to go down the rabbit hole a little bit, please entertain the idea that you're being asked to make a difference,
mhm, mhm.
not just to go in
Yeah,
there and
yeah,
spin and get all crazy, right?
right,
But
right.
to look at it in the way of, all right, how can I
Mhm,
make a positive impact
mhm,
within this
mhm,
container,
mhm, mhm.
whatever that container is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Going back to accountability and
Mhm.
what you can do as an individual, right?
Yes.
It's really important. And I like that you actually brought us kind of in a different direction, because those also are parts of the conspiracy theories that you hear about, how, they, all right, there's just this they
Mhm.
a lot of times in conspiracy
Yes.
theories are
Yes.
doing specific things to our food and things like that. And if you do just a little bit of research, it's public knowledge, about
Yeah.
certain foods not being the greatest for you, processed foods, like
Mhm.
even just the general things about processed foods, not being the greatest. Start there,
Yeah.
and you can, then get more specific. If, a lot of times people through these rabbit holes, I think they
Yeah.
discover allergies that they may have to a certain
Yes.
type
Yeah.
of gluten. That's kind of how that kind of thing
Right. Right.
came all about. um and again, I've heard stories about people who have had like old time like mercury fillings, or something that's like,
Yes.
just something that
Yes.
was not really explored scientifically correctly, and the mercury, somehow interacts with the chemistry of your body and causes early dementia and things like that.
Yes.
um and
Exactly.
then you can have that removed, and it starts to regenerate, and you start to go back
Yes.
to
Yeah.
normal. So, again, under the category of conspiracy theory, you're kind of looked at like, oh, that's crazy, but there is truth to all of this. And it's,
Yeah.
and I know people who have gone through it. So it's, it's
Fluoride in the water, right?
yeah, yeah. So
Just another tidbit, right?
just another tidbit. So talk about that to me, because I know for me, I guess I know a little bit, right? So what I know is that fluoride can contribute to calcifying your pineal gland,
Oh
and that
yes.
your pineal gland is very uh relevant in your whole spiritual system, your whole connection
Yeah.
to source and things like that. So that's also, I guess, a big conspiracy theory, right? That it's been worked
Yeah.
into our water system. Part of, I know for me, whenever I go to the dentist and they're like, okay, it's time to do the fluoride rinse, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather not. And
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
had times where the nurse was like, what do you mean? Like, no, you've got to do it. And I'm like, I don't do it, and they just are conditioned, like that's a
Right.
part of the treatment to make you healthy. So with that being said, can you talk to that just a little bit about
Yeah.
the pineal gland and
Oh,
its
right.
role, and the
Yeah.
role of that theory?
Yeah. The pineal and the pituitary are connected. They're, right behind the third eye and down through the crown chakra when they would meet in the middle. And the pineal and pituitary are very much connected to your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all of your psychic awarenesses, your
Mhm,
intuition, right? And it's also that place where you understand and often feel your divine connection to
mhm,
source, right?
Mhm.
It is one of the places that helps you to channel. It is one of those places that helps you to connect with healing energy. So when you have something that has been, put into your water and taken into your system that dampens the ability of the pineal and pituitary, right? You can understand that it was intentionally done to keep people from being able to experience all that they are.
Mhm.
Why? Well, when you're fully awake, you're really hard to control. And you see things and you know things that others would prefer that you do not see and know. And so, fluoride is just one of those things,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Just one.
Mhm.
Think of
Mhm.
sugar, think of wheat. I mean,
Mhm. Mhm.
yes.
It's it's amazing because that like you're saying, that's not even conspiracy theory. It's just a matter of knowledge. If you go look up the medical effects of sugar, it's amazing that it's even allowed, and how widespreadly used it is
Yeah,
through everything. I mean, it's a part of everyone's diet. It's how, it's really interesting. If
right,
you start to
right.
take a look at these things, and I think, you had a point from way at the beginning. I think we need to try to come up with a better word that has a positive connotation, like, oh no, you're using your brain, whereas you say conspiracy theory and then people think, oh, you're an idiot.
Right.
Instead of saying, no,
Indeed.
wait, you're using your brain. It's the same. It's kind of interesting how the word woke became a negative thing, when it's like, wait a second, do you want to be sleeped or woke? Which,
Well,
which one do you
well,
want to be?
you
Yeah.
know, who changed it from who changed the meaning of it?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting and totally related to what we're talking about, and somehow it was changed. I see Peter Michelle out there. Peter Michael. Hi everyone, my name is Peter. I'm new to this podcast and Metatron. Welcome.
Ah,
Thank you for
Peter. Mm,
saying hello, and bringing your energy to the podcast. um
wonderful to see.
this is great. There's I actually do feel a little bit better, and have a little bit of a better perspective on some things.
Mhm,
Helen is
mhm,
saying there's also the pollution, toxins, and everything we ingest, and our breath, and is touched by, that has impacted our DNA. Yeah, I mean,
mhm.
we could talk about the chemtrails and aluminum in the air, and
Yes,
I mean, again,
yes.
just do some research.
Mm,
I think recently I saw some articles, and again, you have to just not be like, oh, I saw an article. You have to know the validity of that article and maybe compare it to some other things. But I saw some information, and I didn't research it, but it piqued my interest about finding aluminum on just the ground from it falling from the sky. Just going to areas that have
yeah,
that's not
yeah,
naturally
yeah,
there. You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So there's definitely things we need to be aware of.
Oh, yes, indeed. And so, we've opened lots of little cans of worms this evening where people can go, wait a minute, sugar, right?
Yeah.
Wheat? Are you kidding me? Wheat? I love my bread,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that's the other side of it. Some people would rather live with the sugar and live with the wheat and live with the fluoride.
A lot of people, yeah, they hold on to the paradigms because it's comfortable. And I didn't even really think about it, but the truth of the matter is, I haven't completely cut sugar or wheat out of my diet. I have hamburgers occasionally, but I don't eat bread like sandwiches like I used to. I definitely don't just buy loaves of white bread. I don't do that anymore. I haven't drank soda in 15,
Ugh,
20, a long time. Certain things that I've cut out of my life that I think have given me the ability to open myself a little bit more
right.
spiritually, and feel a little better, and feel a little more
Yeah,
connected to myself, and a little bit less subscribed to the mainstream,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, it
hamster wheel.
allows you it allows you to vibe higher, right? You cut out the sugar, you vibe higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut out the weeds, you vibe higher. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that is all part of the solution, right?
Hmm.
Vibing higher
Hmm.
than what is uh, the energy of the conspiracy theories
Hmm.
is how
Hmm.
it begins to bring light to things, how you
Yeah.
begin to heal the things on this planet that are desperately calling to be seen, heard, and healed. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm gonna actually take that as Metatron's advice to kind of, because we got to kind of start wrapping this up.
Okay.
But would you say that's accurate? Like vibe higher, and that
Yeah.
goes along with what we said the whole episode about accountability for what you are bringing forward and what you're doing
Yes.
for yourself and for the collective, because the more you do for yourself to make yourself more healthy and happy,
No.
the happier the collective becomes, and then I think that ripple starts to happen.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And we will just really remind all you beloved light workers, please don't don't give up, right? You're so important. Every
Mhm.
little thing that you do matters. You don't have to do grandiose things, but just continue to bring your light to the best of your ability, and you will help. You will help. And we honor and support you for all that you do. All
Thank you
right.
so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We'll have to come up with another topic and bring you back and have some more moments with Metatron. I know for me, I cherish my moments with you and the wisdom that comes through. The wisdom that you helped me remember. I truly feel like that's what's happening. Is we have a conversation and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that already. Thank you for reminding me. It's very
The,
powerful. Yeah, it's
the,
very, very
that means that we have done our job. And thank you, Michael. We will come back next time and perhaps touch upon something a little lighter.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste. So let's bring Wendy back and then we can say goodbye.
Excuse me just a moment. Mhm.
Oh, that was quick.
Whew. Whew.
Wow. Welcome back.
Hi.
That was
Well, you're
amazing.
still here. That's one good sign.
No, that was really amazing. More than I expected it to be. I had no idea what to expect, to be honest. But certainly enlightening, and gave me some perspective on, kind of like just not so much fear, and again, I think I'm pretty good with not subscribing to the fear, but I do feel like there's truth to some of these things that is not, uh how do I say this? I guess you could say could seem scary, you know what I mean? But I think tonight's conversation helped it not seem so scary. So,
Hopefully,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Metatron always tries to help us to have a way to move through our fears. Not,
totally.
yeah.
Totally. I totally appreciate it. So, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling good. Happy that we are complete and my trepidation is gone.
Yeah,
That surrender to Metatron in the process always, helps me to be, mm, you know, just more fully present. So,
like I said, it's interesting as a spiritual person because it's like you have to be careful about what you're saying, but it's important stuff to say. You don't want to not say it. I think that's the idea.
mhm,
So I think all of us did a good job in kind of bringing some of that stuff to the light.
yeah.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to do an episode like this.
Mhm.
And we'll definitely have you back on the show. Helen also said she was worried about the subject. No, I think we did a good job. I couldn't be happier. So I am going to wish you good night, Wendy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put you in the back. Hang on a second so
Thank
I can
you.
say goodnight to you after the end. And I
All
just want
right.
to say
All right.
goodbye
Thank
to
you,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks for hanging with us.
Yes. Oh, what an awesome special episode of the Livestream of Consciousness, conspiracy theories with Metatron. That was hopefully enlightening to you guys, made you feel a little bit better. I know it made me feel better. I'm excited about tomorrow night on the regular Livestream of Consciousness. I have John Marine coming on, who is Deborah Markowitz's partner in Intention Films. And I love the name of their film company, Intention Films. We heard Deborah's story about how screenwriting and the stories that she brought through and how they were related to spirituality and spirit, which is very cool. And I think John has some interesting stories as well. So I'm excited for tomorrow night. So come back tomorrow night. Also, the following week, I'm going to be seeing Incubus. So I'm taking the week off and seeing a nice concert. And then the week after, I believe I have who do I have? Let me open up my calendar and tell you. I have Lethal Linda, who is she's a rock and roll writer. She writes for Vibes magazine. Really, really cool person and spirit. So I'm excited to bring her on. I see I have another comment. Peter, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Hat Pauser, yes, you missed a good conversation. Watch the replay. Thank you for popping in, though. I do appreciate it. Yes, a Wednesday and Thursday twofer. Very cool. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming into the special moments with Metatron.